Welcome everybody here to the top 5 plays of the week from Esports U. Clutch Key helping to bring you those top plays, so let's get things started. In Valorant, it's the Loyola Maryland Greyhounds taking on the Army West Point Black Knights, taken to map number 1 on Icebox, and the Greyhounds winning the pistol round, so it's looking good for them to go up 10-4, but with the Marshal, it's MIB Police from the Black Knights on the case.
At the same time, but that opportunity won't be afforded. D-Sung, though, could turn this into a rifle, potentially more. MIB Police from the Raptors doing work with the Marshal and might even present a greater threat. Jumping down with the classic, turn into a right-click hero. A Marshal in hand, and MIB Police secures a 4K. Force round be damned.
A heroic play from MIB Police, but it would be the Black Knights taking Icebox and winning the series 2-0. Let's go to Rocket League. Lawrence Saints and the Bengals of Buffalo State. Down by 1 in game number 3, and the Bengals are looking for that equalizer in the final minute of the game. Luckily, Jesco decides that, yeah, overtime is probably a good thing going into the last minute.
It's hard in order to even think about getting an insurance goal here.
Oh boy, it does feel like SLU as well, just trying to play survival mode. No, maybe they're thriving instead. A good bouncer from Elmo Fingers does get past one defender. Turks moving this across the width of the field. The pinch, finding the midfield here. Good catch from Jesco, putting a shot on target as well. Jesco!
Overtime, it would go in game number 3, and actually the Saints would win overtime, but as for the series, it would be all Buffalo State taking the dub 4-1. Overwatch 2 action with the Great Danes of Albany and the Spartans of UNC Greensboro. Third map on Havana, and the Great Danes want to cap first point in just under a minute. But Magix has a trick up their sleeve, and in fact, they might have more than one.
Out of here, they want to get that kill, and they're doing it. Jesse, they are doing it. Now Magix is back on the field. Lobs Nick's head, oh my gosh. Showing Volks in the business end of that too. The payload is still being contested, and it's all, oh my.
Not only is Magix One a sniper, but the Spartans had a one of their own in the form of a Broom, as the Spartans would go on to win the series 3-0. To League of Legends, where the Polar Bears of Ohio Northern take on the Dukes of James Madison. 12th minute in game number 2, and the Polar Bears want their second dragon. On the Kiana, though, Shomi is about to show us what robbery on the Rift looks like.
Great rotation onto this. They got the first dragon. They are likely to pick up the second here, and the Shomi can somehow make this work.
Well, they're trying, and over the wall, they got a ward and said snipe. And the steal! The steal from Shomi said you only...
Dragon stolen, and even with the kill lead, the Polar Bears also got that stolen away. In the end, Dukes would come out with the dub 2-0. Let's head to Overwatch 2 action with the Aggies of Utah State taking on the Rams of Colorado State. Down a map on Nepal, and the Rams need to make some sort of comeback to force map 3. Well, a crazy team fight leads up to why Death Trap lives up to the tag.
You're going to be in a great position. This Dragon Strike might be able to create some separation, but Cass is just taking heads.
Cass rolls the head of the finish right now. There's the Terror Surge. Is he going to find anything is the question. Immortality View happened to be used. This Death Trap finds a triple. Oh my goodness. Death Trap finds a fourth. He's going to find the team kill. It's now the Rams would force map number 3, but the Aggies were too strong for the rest of the contest, and the Utah State Aggies get the sweep 3-0. To Summoner's Rift in League, where the Aztecs of San Diego State take on the Spartans of San Jose State. Game 1, and all the advantages to the Aztecs 30 minutes in, and Devour on the Caitlyn makes sure it stays that way to march to the base.
Half health. Actually, with the Chaos Storm dropped as well, that might be the go button as everyone follows the rock, and it's not going to be enough off the outset. Tom Goku shut down in the back line, and it's all falling apart for this fight that San Jose chose to take. The ADCs are all together. Piao picked up a kill on the backside. Tabula Rasa's surviving forever. Eventually,
the Aztecs would go on to win game number 1, but something clicks in the Spartans, and San Jose would win the series 2-1. To Valorant, with Andromeda taking on the University of Houston Scarlet team. Map number 2 on Fracture, and Andromeda wants to push A site, but Binko is sitting around the corner, and even with little to no utility, Binko just finds a way to make heads roll.
1-for-1 trade, make it 1-for-2 as Slorth takes down Altier, trying to trade for Orchid. Binko now trapped in a corner. They're shooting out the Prowlers, and there's not a lot of places that Binko can go, but now only Slorth being the one peeking. Oh, Binko, what was that?
Binko calls bingo on the ace, and it would be Houston who calls game on Fracture as they win the series 2-0.
To come through, it's just playing aimbot.
And that's it from Top Plays of the Week from Esports U. Thanks for watching, everybody, and until next time, this is Clutch Key signing off.
I can't say that. I'll get in trouble. There's one for each game, so teams this weekend, somebody's going to have to explain to TSA why they're coming home with an extra trophy. Fine. We're fine. This is going to be great. Why is everybody staring at me? I'm not even doing anything yet. Is it because I'm in a suit? It looks nice. It's new. I'm stressing. It's all right. We win these. We absolutely win these. I've never seen us lose these. I love him. I don't remember his name. What is going on, everybody? And oh, are we ready? I'll start over. Okay. What's going on, everybody? We are here at the Collegiate Esport Commissioners Cup 2022 in Atlanta, Georgia. The players are just now entering the arena for day one. A lot of them had the opportunity to be here yesterday to get jerseys, to get familiar with the area, and to get to know one another.
We're at the Collegiate Esports Commissioners Cup. Let's make some noise.
Oh, and it's gonna
jumped into it.
Corner judge is good for 1, 2, yeah, he needs more.
They're doing even more here. You gotta touch the point. Mr. College walks it in.
Toy Boy is gonna drop.
Knife him.
Right out front.
Yeah, 3, 2, 1, running.
Hello and welcome in, everybody, of course, to ESU2. My name is Visionary1. Alongside of me tonight is Vincent. How are you feeling tonight, man?
I'm feeling great, and I'm feeling ready for some more Valorant action. This is going to be a lot of fun. I'm so prepared to get it started with quarterfinals getting underway here at the ECC.
Yeah, a little different look tonight going with the ECC, and I'm super excited to see, of course, these two teams. We have the College of Staten Island facing off against Utica, so it's going to be an interesting matchup. Vincent, I know you've been following these teams pretty closely throughout the season. Is there any key points that you kind of want to hit before we get this series kicked off?
Well, I think we should set the stage a little bit. I mentioned quarterfinals, but let's talk about where these two teams are at in the generalized ECC playoff bracket. And that is, well, number one, Utica, 5-2 is what they're coming in. College of Staten Island just a little bit worse off at 4-3. And this is the 4 and the 5 seed. So at least on paper, this could be an incredibly close game. And I'm incredibly excited to kind of see how that's going to go. And that suggests that, well, I don't know that there's a clear favorite, though Utica is the higher seeder. They did get that extra win in the regular season.
Yeah, and because they got that extra win, they also got to pick the decider map instead of just kind of letting that one fall off with bans. So that's going to be super interesting if we see map number 3 as well, because Utica, as kind of the home team, quote unquote, gets an extra map pick. That could be massive playing into the later parts of the series if we get that far. And just kind of want to shout it out. I'm super interested to see these teams. Obviously, lock-in happened. We've had the first couple of weeks of VCT, and we've seen a lot of different looks as far as strats go, as far as comps go. It's looked a lot different. It's looked a lot more diverse, and I think that Valorant's finally starting to get to that point where it's aging well enough to where we can actually have diversity and multiple comps can be successful instead of just having one meta comp.
Yeah, I think at the very highest level, you're still going to tend to see that, but the experimentation, especially in the collegiate scene, has been a lot of fun to watch, and I think that that's what's kind of cool. I even saw a Gecko Cup on Icebox the other day, and I won't say that it worked super well, but it was really interesting. It was fun to watch, so that is definitely the case, especially when it comes to the collegiate space. So all of that to say, the question marks coming into today is... well, are CSI going to be able to overcome that deficit that they had? It's also interesting to note that Utica, technically 4th seed, but they're also tied at that 5-2 mark with both the 3rd and the 2nd seed. The only difference being that I think it's map wins probably is the differentiating factor, at least by the look of it, it is. So there's not a lot of space between that 2 and 4 spot, and that might mean that CSI are in for a rough one.
Yeah, at the end of the day, though, they're still, 4-3. They only dropped one more game. So it might be a kind of a case of, that three-headed monster of that triangle. Well, this team beat this team, but this team also, beat Team C. And now, we just have who plays the better matchup. So it's going to be really interesting to see how that math differential actually ends up playing out and making this the 4 versus 5 versus, them potentially facing the team is that 2 seed or is that 3 seed.
Yeah, I agree. All of that is just speculation on my part. It's like, you know, just a little bit of fun to poke and to prod. Let's talk about maps though, because we have a pretty interesting pool lined up tonight. And I say interesting because Icebox, though I despise it, is an incredibly common pick in the space. And I've seen CSI play Icebox before. Now, granted, that was a season ago, but they have a similar roster, so I'm going to count that. And the other side of it is we have a Pearl Decider. That is so incredibly rare. Usually Pearl is coming out as like, it's either banned or it's insta-picked. One of the two. Never in between. And we've got the difference today.
Well, it could just be a pocket map too. I mean, that could theoretically be the best map sitting here for Utica, and they could just be like, we don't want to show our strat on it in the quarterfinals, so let's go ahead and make it map 3. We feel super comfortable with it, but you know, Haven is just kind of a standard college Valorant map. Like, I don't think I've casted a single college Valorant series that did not have Haven on it. So
yeah, they're getting rarer and rarer. Haven's the new Ascent. You know, I'm just calling it, I'm saying it like it is. Haven is the new Ascent, and I'm okay with that, actually. I love Haven. I hope they don't remove it, because it's a lot of fun, and it always adds a little wrinkle, no matter how many times you've watched it get played out. So that is the pick of CSI. That'll be our second map, and CSI also relatively strong on that one. I've seen them play it before, and so that gives me some additional confidence that maybe the Dolphins will be able to look good here. Don't know, though. We're going to get into our first map, though. As mentioned, Icebox, and well, will we see this Harbor? I watched a nutty double controller comp the other day on this map. It was crazy. I hope this Harbor comes in.
I hope it does too, just because I think it's actually viable on more maps than just Icebox. I've seen it be run successfully at the VCT level at Lock-In on Lotus. I'm thinking that could potentially transfer to Haven as well, just because you have to think about, you know, the 3 sites and kind of how the maps play a little bit similarly. Obviously, little less entryways going on with Lotus. Utilizing those doors is kind of the main gimmick of the map, but very standard comp coming out from CSI. Utica, however, I mean, Phoenix is your main duelist on Icebox?
Yeah, that's a bit rare. I mean, that's actually really rare. You never see that. If you're going to see a Phoenix, it's usually, I mean, maybe on a Fracture, or if you're a little bit wacky, you'll pull it out on Ascent. But you said standard, and I want to stop you right there, because actually, this is not a standard comp here for CSI. They're running double duelist, which is now a bit of a rarity. Typically, you see a double initiator if you're going to see any double anything. And that's not the case here. And it's also Raze, which is also not a duelist we always see on Icebox, though certainly more common than the likes of the Phoenix on the other side.
Yeah, it certainly is. Anything that allows you, especially with how Icebox is kind of set up, right? Like, you're essentially playing for post plant a ton. So if you're attacking first, I love seeing Raze, or just as denial of plant. Anything that you can throw in that area where the dead spots are will assist you, will buy you time, right? So bringing a Raze in, I actually really enjoy, just for the sheer fact that you have the paint shells. You can drop those whenever and go ahead and just push them off of that plant for, you know, the extra 3 or 4 seconds, just buy that time for your team to come in. I've seen Raze be super successful on this map. I mean, we've seen Brims on this map as a second controller just because he has the molly. There are so many different options with agents and spike denial that works out on this map, and I really like the Raze pick. Although the double duelist comp, we're going to see if that's going to be effective.
I'm sorry, I fell slightly asleep because we've seen this so many times in Icebox. But you're right, the idea of the denial of that area is really good, and I like the Raze because of that. It is just a little abnormal, but that's sort of the name of the game here with the double controller as well on the Harbor, which, like I said, I saw it before, and it was really good. One of the cool strategies with it was actually that you could get onto the site here at A, and then you could cut off retake forever with the high tide and then the Viper's toxic screen.
Yep.
Really great the way that they were able to use those utilities. I think it was like 30 seconds of uptime total. So if you get into a post plant, you just have 30 seconds of uptime.
It's wild. It really forces people to have to be aggressive, right? And I mean, you say it's a snooze fest in Icebox, but we're getting somebody looking up in right now. He's able to find 1-2 with the classic. Okay, that's a way to start out the quarterfinals right there.
Listen. Don't take
And then
any of my.
misses the nade.
Oh, no. That's a bit rough. Don't take any of my criticism of Icebox being a snooze fest too legitimately. I have an innate hate. I'm sorry. It just is what it is.
Well, I'm saying,
you know?
at least we got double controller and double duelist on the other side, right? It's something different from what we usually see.
That's exactly right. And ooh, Utica had a little bit of a good look earlier on. Now they're playing together at the very least. This is very deadly. Look at the HP.
So low. So low here. As trades are coming out, of course, that 2v1. But Phoenix does have a heal here, and Shifty going to go ahead and take it down. So CSI is going to take the first defense round. Obviously, Icebox, a historically defender-sided map. So you kind of think of it to be this way. At the same end of the coin, though, you never really want to drop pistol around, right? Because it can be a coin flip, and you're already at a disadvantage.
Yeah, it is certainly the case. You never want to be losing out. You never want to be going down early. That said, I think Utica, they'll be okay, especially when you look at how much the utility of their composition gives them. They got everything. I'm sure they'll figure it out. Double initiator, double controller is fun to watch. So no sentinels though, which is a bit different. It's a little interesting.
Yeah, it certainly is, but after the trademark on Chamber was nerfed, it wasn't like anybody was really playing a Sentinel other than Sage just to wall off B site for plant or try to just cut off certain areas of the map. So I actually think this is a solid comp because you're not really going to have that flank watch regardless for the most time. I know a lot of teams do run KJ, but you have that distance thing, and with Icebox being so wide, as we see, of course, the default on the save round here from Utica, with Icebox being so wide, it's not like her utility could always stay in range for when you pushed out onto site. So
yeah, you're getting that lockdown usage in anything but a bad situation has been tough. I like the patience. Utica showing some of that. CSI the same, making sure not to walk into these pistols and they'll end up having to push out. Jason will take a free ult orb, but that's just one player down. CSI still feeling very strong.
Yeah, and Vandal in hand right here too. That has a chance to absolutely shred, and it is going to be Shifty once again. Oh, there's the high tide. Chaser's actually going to find one, find two. Okay, there's an opportunity here. You're going to be able to find it. I know the spike plant is going to be difficult, and we see the nano swarm come out as well. It's not going to be found as the turret gets destroyed, so the location is there. This has just got to be a swing, right? And it is from Fordo. It's going to be 2-0, but a few more guns than I think CSI would have liked to actually give up.
I just realized what a great name It's Fordo is. I'm assuming that's a reference to Star Wars The Clone Wars. If so, W. If not, I've just missed something, but I'm going to choose to believe. Anyway, long story short, that round was a bit of a wash, though a lot of good work done in the late stages for Chaser. 3 frags on a round where you really only had classics. I'd call that a victory. And pretty much any way you look at it, Utica heading into this round now with a Viper Spit where they wouldn't have had one before.
Yeah, it was also the part of, farming orbs on the first round. It just helped that little bit. So you have the opportunity to kind of come in, try to take site here. But the thing is, you have to kind of find that opening pick, especially when everything is sitting the way it is right now. Sano looking for a kill on the Sova drone. Going to be able to find it there. His Anchor's just going to chill out here after they throw the high tide. It's looking like they're going to be rotating here. So a little bit of action, a little bit of util dump, but nothing too crazy. They're going to be able to get that high tide back as well. So this default wall that hasn't even been thrown yet, they might actually use that double wall strat you were talking about, Vincent.
I hope they do, because it was so effective. Of course, we'll have to wait just a little bit longer. This is a bonus round for CSI. Cove goes out onto the site, but this isn't a commitment. This is just going to end up being, oh my goodness, I love it. Just a straight circle on the side today. That high tide is creating so many question marks. They're all gone. Nobody at B. CSI, they've bitten hook, line, and sinker on this fake. The Viper bit down here. The retake going to be tough.
The retake is certainly going to be tough here. Both snake bites used into the Viper's pit. Not going to be able to find anything with that as Chaser just lurking around as they should. And the crazy part is if they wouldn't have thrown that KO knife, as Loney's actually going to find one with the Stinger over the top. So 4v5, not bad, but they wouldn't have thrown that KO knife, I don't know if they would have even been aware that anybody was on B. I mean, that's crazy to think about. And there's another frag, a perfect Sova dart going in there as trades just come abound. People are falling, bodies are flying everywhere. But right now, it's looking like Utica is going to be able to pull this one off. One on the defuse. It's going to be El Professor there. The defuse is not going to come through those. Utica, El Professor, finding all the angles there, gets the clutch.
Yeah, just took a little bit of extra time to take those fights, making the moves, and it all really does come down to the player that was in the Viper's pit, AMG, taking out their fellow Viper and the Chaser. That base opened up the time, and there wasn't a lot of it because of how heavily CSI had bit on that rotate. It really didn't look as if things were going to be going their way. They got the timing, but they just couldn't win the fights.
Yeah, I mean, regardless though, you got 4 weapons off of them in a bonus round, so you're successful regardless. It just really comes down to look how quick this hit is. Like, they are just running it down right now. Look at Joyce just going like a mad lad. They're not even expecting him. He's already on the back of sight. That's crazy. Sano right now trying to hold this with a Marshall, and you see the flame wall go up as well. This is going to be extremely difficult. Sees the head, and Sano's going to be able to find the head of Joyce and take out the character who essentially just ran onto site for free.
Two players just left alive. This is a tough situation. Of course, Frenzy's in hand. Does make it a little easier in Chaser. The timing couldn't have been better. 1v2 though now for this Harbor.
Have to swing here. Okay, the spray coming down. That's a 120 situation. Feels bad for Anchor right there. And yep, 36 health on AMG. One of those was a leg shot, unfortunately, but the defuse is going to be stuck. CSI going to go ahead and win their gun round versus essentially, you know, a half buy almost, just due to the situation and them losing 4 guns versus CSI on the bonus.
So I'm pretty sure I didn't actually pay attention to the buy last round because I just assumed that Utica would be purchasing, but they didn't buy there, which is actually a pretty big mistake. You should always be buying if you're winning that round. You want to put maximum pressure on, and they actually got away with it. They did get 3 kills, but it can be so rough if you don't continue to apply that pressure to your opposition into that next round.
Yeah, and applying that pressure is looking like Utica is going to be doing again as we get to run it back and gonna find value off of that off the rip. The Reckoning also committed right there as Joycey gonna be able to be taken out, but they still have their entire life. The 6th man coming alive, the cove being used, the plant going down. This is an extremely fast and concise hit from Utica.
It is. Shifty, though, has made their way into a very, very forward position early into this retake. I don't think Anchor gonna know. Absolutely will. Never mind. Sano with at least 1 trade, but if you look, the time ticking away, and with that frag down, it's looking nearly impossible if Sano can't bring it back. A 2-on-2 now, and the defuse is continuing. Finally, the post-plant utility will be there as Professor will help out alongside the Snakebite.
I mean, Professor's kind of just like shifted this game on its head a little bit. I mean, originally kind of started out slow and then just exploded the last 2.5 rounds. So definitely love to see that from the Sova coming out, getting that intel and running that double initiator with the double controller. It allows you to be a little bit more aggressive when you're able to get that intel. Also, of course, having the KO and shutting down people's abilities when you have a double duelist comp, right? Like no paint shells to be thrown to delay. There's no Jet Smokes being able to get their angles because, I mean, obviously it's Jet, right? They're going to be playing aggressively because they have a get out of jail free card. So looking at this right now, I'm liking what CSI is doing. They're being able to get the value out of their picks. And unfortunately, that Viper's Pit actually didn't drop. So this is going to be a very awkward position for AMG.
Yeah, I mean, that is a little bit unfortunate because CSI, they could have done it. It just took a little bit too long to press the button. Blade Storm out for Sano, and that is going to make life hard for this push. Utica will move forward. It is getting fragged, pushing all the way towards Snowman is HT, and that'll be the ticket to gather back at least 1 advantage. That advantage falls by the wayside. CSI still alive and kicking, but now the Viper's Pit in place.
And I mean, they're obviously sending Elf Professor. Oh no, are we gonna see this happen twice in 1 round? The Sova just gets whopped from behind as they're droning out on the side. Oh my, that is not something I was expecting to see twice, but it's a great push by CSI, and Staten Island able to get a 2-round lead right now. I'm liking what I'm seeing from them. It's going to be another essentially almost full save coming out from Utica. They might have to kind of readjust here because they are coming quick onto the sites. They are being aggressive. They are pushing, but they're not being able to manage to hold the site back.
Well, and this is what that double duelist really allows you to do. It allows you to be aggressive and take space back whenever you lose it. That's not so much the case for the likes of the more passive composition that also doesn't have something like a jet to move forward aggressively with. And we're seeing it again here. Sano, a very forward position, does get hit with the suppress, so that's information gained, but information is great. You still have to hit the shots, and that's been the problem for Utica these last 2 rounds.
Yeah, it certainly has been, and that is such an aggressive position. And you know they're on their save, so like the wall bangs or the spam on Nest, you're not really worried about. And here comes the dash, and that is going to be a oh my. Okay, Sano had to burn another updraft. Unfortunately, couldn't get up top. We're gonna see if anybody's gonna be able to find a pick here. Sano finds the top of one. Here's the Frenzy trying to do some work. AMG actually finds one with a snake bite as well off screen. This is gonna be very tough sledding ahead. Obviously, big save round for Utica here, but they're not able to really find anything so far.
Great adjustment there from Sano as well. Spikes down out in the open. Shifty will fall in the meantime. 2 players alive, and Spike gonna go down. I don't know if that Hunter's Fury was strictly necessary, and
30 seconds left.
I think Loney will want that back ultimately, but 1v4 seems difficult, but Anchor might be able to do it. Not gonna know about this player close range in the cubby, and it'll be over. AMG, good patience to be had for College of Staten Island. The Dolphins doing some good work at a 5-2 score line, though that one was up against Nico, so to be expected, that outcome.
Yeah, certainly to be expected, but the big key here is both the duelists are doing their job exquisitely, right? I mean, 21 frags in 7 rounds in between the 2 of them, so you're getting value of at least 3 picks a round just from them. And
they're shooting hard.
Yeah, they're shooting hard, they're shooting a lot, and they're finding a lot of bullets on target. And continually, we're seeing these buys come out, and it's almost like Utica's stuck in the cycle of send and deliverance. They go for a full buy, they get that average of 3 kills, and it swings back into the way, and now, oh, well, some of us at least have to save, even if they win the round, right? You're not going to have enough economy to really do anything. That's a great curveball right there to push Sano off, but I mean, CSI's look really comfortable playing retakes, so they can be as aggressive as they want to be. The Viper's Pit may cause some issues, though.
Yeah, it's not just the Viper's Pit, though. This null command can make sure that there's no utility able to be used in defense of this planted spike, or Hunter's Fury as well on the backside of things. Nonetheless, 4 players remaining for CSI. They've got a good position here, but as mentioned, the pit, a problem. And it's even bigger as Chaser showed some signs of this early into this game. Connecting shots, the 3K for Chaser.
I mean, Chasers just looked really solid when they're able to take a little bit more space, right? When Chaser's allowed to kind of just be on site, do his own thing, especially obviously in the pit, it's a little bit easier to get the kills. But I mean, it's really odd, you know, seeing this Phoenix come out and your 2 top frags are your intel and your smokes. So I'd like to see Joyce step it up just a little bit here, maybe get a little bit more aggressive, or just, you know, play some awkward angles. But at the same time, they're getting value out of the curveball. They are able to push CSI off of site continually, and we have a successful post plant with the help of an ultimate. Let's see how they do without the Viper's Pit this time.
Santa's been having some trouble with these updrafts, but still hit the shots just perfectly fine for a ball to get around the corner, and that's going to blind up Loney, and that'll be a 3-on-3. No command still available. The lockdown, though, for anybody trying to retake, and Shifty has shifted this into a man advantage for CSI.
Not only that, but Spike is actually down on top of 410, so it's going to be extremely difficult to recover, as well as this lurk coming out. Anchor's going to be able to find one and even the odds. That's absolutely beautiful, as Joyce, again, gets tagged from behind. Out comes the Cove, and you might actually see Anchor. Anchor's able to secure the Spike, as it's Fordo able to find one there. Obviously, this Killjoy is a nuisance, going to have to fall off of this, and they're hoping to catch him, of course, in mid. Oh, no. Are we going to see the knives? No. I thought we were going to see a little BM and Slaying just 2 rush in with knives, but it was getting a little too close for comfort there.
I think he might have actually got out of it if he went with the knife. So, good news. No trolling happening here. This is very serious, Valorant, okay? Come on. 12 and 12 fragging for these top fraggers. Just beautiful stuff on the duelists. And that's the beauty of playing double duelist, is that you can enable your players to take these gunfights and make it look very difficult for Utica. And they've been doing so. You would think that the amount of utility that Utica have would make it easier to deal with these aggressive pushes, but that hasn't been the case.
Joke's over.
It really hasn't, but we're gonna see. Oh, okay. Sano gets an opening death there, so El Professor gonna do some work there. Turk gonna be shot down here by Joyce once again. Gets a little chip damage as well, so some good value to be found there. A lot of space created once again off the Phoenix ultimate, and Chaser coming up, just planting default. We're gonna see this is gonna be very close, and Loney actually spots the drop, but does not spot the plant going down as the curveball is gonna blind two. This is a phenomenal job by Utica. They just ran it through. It's flawless. That was an extremely quick round, and by the way, using that second controller is just the biggest lurker of all time. It's working out pretty darn well as well.
Yeah, I do think that has limited the layering of utility that I was kind of hoping to see, but it is two different styles that are both very valid. Taking the space and just making it very difficult for CSI to ever feel safe to rotate is just as effective, or at least can be. Utica, they've had their struggles, but that last round was the best round we've seen from them yet, and it's really not even close. We got more players forward towards this A site, and for the first time, Santa was actually punished for the aggressive maneuvers. Might be here once again, but just not quite enough on that ultimate.
It doesn't seem to matter as Joyce is going to rush in. Loney has the trade almost immediately, but you have to remember this is the first time that CSI's economy has been a little bit scuffed as they come in with a couple marshals, a couple rifles. We're going to see if they're going to be able to hold this off as the default plant coming out as UEHT07, what a name, gets a headshot right there on Loney, and Anchor's going to be able to find one back and trade it out. And once again, the Reckoning being used, this is going to be an extremely difficult retake, especially for just a Viper and a Jet. But we've seen these shots come in from Sano. The opportunity to use that Blade Storm is now gone because, of course, of the 0 point. But
still hits the right click. This defuse is continuing. This defuse will come through. It's a clutch there for AMG. And despite HT07 getting the kills at the end of the day, the kills don't matter if the round doesn't go your way.
So Utica came in with a full buy. They still have enough money to full buy. Why wasn't it? Was it just the orb had already fallen? Did I just not catch that on the camera?
The orb for
the orb for Utica, like the poison orb, like had it already fallen? Because the molly, they were just standing in the molly defusing, and there was no poison orb that was up. So I don't know if it was because they had committed their wall and they were out of toxin, but
it could have been that. It also could have been that, I mean, they went down there in that fight, so as soon as they go down, you know, that could have been it. Maybe that it just wasn't a factor at that point. Either way, a good question, not a clear answer. This is a clear response. Quickly pulling out the showstopper. Show's not over yet. It's trades on the site.
Yeah, and Chaser coming out once again, gonna get this default plant on. I know Loney has the read on this. This is gonna be so dangerous. There is the orb, and there is your body. It wasn't a headshot, but Loney's gonna take those for sure. Is Joyce gonna find one here? It's gonna be massive. 2v2, just hanging out. Flame wall's gonna go up as well. Little retreat here, trying to play, just kind of awkward here in maze. The molly's coming out there. That is, defuse is going to be halfway, and Joyce is going to be able to find it again. Utica's going to bring this to a 7-5 half. And Vincent, I have to say, with Icebox traditionally being defender sided, I think you feel pretty good about a 7-5 half, especially when it started out 5-2.
That's what I was just about to say. It's not even the numbers that matter, though those are certainly, you know, that's a fair point too. But it's the fact that you were able to recover to 7-5 at this point, and you started so far down. It's really great to see. But it's still the same two players kind of in the driver's seat for Utica. But now you ask the question where it's been located. We found Joyce. Don't worry. Not lost. Has been located. Has been found. Now at 10 frags as well. Taking up that third spot.
Yeah, and it was just a little bit better job of entry, and they found a lot more value off the curveballs as the game went on. So definitely love to see that, and it's going to be interesting to see how Staten Island, honestly, play this attack just because they have two duelists? Are you going to be as aggressive as, you know, Utica was on trying to get onto site quickly? It's going to be very interesting to see as the A site rush is fully here. There's a good curveball right there, but Sano is going to be able to find the frag once again. An opening pick for Sano. I want to say he has 4 first bloods already.
Certainly close to that, if not more. Nonetheless, Shifty, not a first blood, but a second. It's almost as good. Even a third there as Shifty picks up their 3rd frag. And now it's just one player, Chaser, who's been fantastic, but there's just no way. And it will be over. It's Fordo with the confirmation of the flawless CSI. That's a good tone setter. That shows exactly what they want to do, and that's run it down and make it very hard for Utica to just exist on these sides.
Yeah, and it's an effective strategy, right? Because every single team that I play with seems to want to do that in ranked, so...
It's a time-tested ranked strategy as well.
It is. It certainly is. So seeing CSI take advantage of those duelists and really create space right off the rip, right? And I think the thing that I like to see the most out of that is the fact that everybody is supportive directly after that. And we get to see the high tide coming out, and it's not really going to make that big of a difference. Cascade being burned as well, and this is literally just calling the rotate in, and they quadruple stacked A. So this is going to be a full rotation against the pistols of Utica.
Shouldn't be too much trouble. I say that as the plant goes through. Very close on the spam, and it will eventually be there, but the plant does go down, and that's the most important part. Now it can be defended, or at least on paper, that's the way it should go. CSI still at a 1-player disadvantage into this. Just 4 remaining players alive. Though a lot of question marks right now from Utica. They took so long to get a move on. It allows for Loney to walk around the corner, gets 4 frags, just holding down the mouse 1 button. That Ares working wonderfully.
That is, it just shredded him. Like, gets 4 just with a little mid lurk. And
they were there, and then they weren't.
Yeah, they were there, and in the blink of an eye, they disappeared. Loney,
cool magic trick, eh?
Yeah, you know what? I'm about that life, honestly. I think Ares is still kind of undervalued because it was overpowered for a solid 2 weeks. I think it was the beginning of episode 5, and they overtuned it. Overtuned to the point where nobody bought Vandals, but I feel like it's just a little bit undervalued because we see it a ton on Ascent, right? Just because of wall bangs, but I feel like in round 2 when you're going up against pistols, like rate of fire is important, and you kind of saw it right there because if that's a Spectre, you're out of ammo. And oh my, what?
Okay, what a response from Utica. Just 1, 2, 3, easy does it. Nobody even bothered. There's a player to make this comeback happen. It's Shifty, 1 kill away from a showstopper. Keep that in your mind's eye. That's where the Ares does struggle, though, in the gun round. That ramp-up time really does hurt you a lot when it's just 1 bullet. That is going to be your demise. Not 1 bullet, but a few bullets. It's Professor to shut that down. But, yeah, I think on the anti-eco, yeah, a little undervalued. I would agree. The Ares, a fantastic weapon to work with. Fantastic attempted recovery there from Shifty as well. It just wasn't quite enough.
Yeah, and you still get value out of it, though. You see a Shorty coming out and a Spectre coming out on the buys for Utica. So at the end of the day, you know, you kind of got your value out of it just because Shifty was able to get kind of a little bit of that B-site control. And you didn't get the plant, but you did get the showstopper available as well. So we're going to see another Poison Orb going mid. I wonder if they're going to try to do this again because HCO7 just removed everybody's domes the last time we did this. And looks like they are. They're going to commit mid once again, knowing that Utica has a bit softer buy than they did last time.
And that's something that I'm a little bit confused about. I think Utica should be investing here pretty heavily instead of going for that sort of half buy. That's a lot of damage taken to both the Nano Swarm and the Viper there.
Stay down.
It's going to be punished as well. AMG sticking around maybe a little too long.
Shifty, this positioning, the trigger discipline, this is massive, but no, the Cascade comes out somehow, Anchor sees him on the mini-map, and just removes that. The Cove gonna come out, make this so difficult in a 1 or 2v5 retake. They're gonna get 2 frags, but it's looking like Utica is starting to put the pieces together again, and we were questioning, you know, that ability to put pressure on and buy up a little bit more. It worked out heavily in their favor there.
It did, and it didn't. I think that ultimately the way that round goes, as good as Shifty's been, it's on Shifty. Like, there's a time for taking the frags, and there's a time for waiting on the frags. That was one of those take what you got moments, you know? And listen, 2020 hindsight and all that, how you had 2 players dead to rights. You probably should take it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just one of those things. I mean, but it's just the possibility of getting all 3, right?
I know.
It's so juicy. It's so juicy. Like like me, I'm probably shooting the first guy just because I'm bad. And what an angle getting that headshot. But I mean, if it's me, I'm shooting the first guy. I'm like, I'm just getting mine, and then I'm blaming my team afterwards.
I fully recognize that it's super easy for me to say these things sitting here in the booth and not being in the game. When I'm in the game, it's different. But you know, that's why I sit here, so that I don't have to make those decisions.
Exactly. Hot Hand's going to come out as well, just kind of delaying the push onto A site. It seems like everybody's just going to kind of conglomerate around Maze right now. I mean, you know, they're on a lighter buy. There's an alarm bot pressed out, and once again, the Reckoning is going to be able to find some value here, as it's another 4v2 situation, and the guns are definitely not favoring CSI right now. As the Stinger gets dropped, here's the Sheriff. It's going to lose to the Vandal, and Utica just bit by bit starting to kind of get a hold of what CSI is doing.
I'm not trying to pile on too heavily, but think about the outcome of that engagement, right? Where Anchor just turns on Shifty. Instead of a round that almost certainly CSI win, it's forced an eco. Now it's such a close game, and there's just 1 round away from a tied one. I mean, that's huge. What a turnaround, and massive props to Anchor. Maybe we're not giving Anchor enough credit in this. Just great awareness and good adjustment to what is surely a big surprise. Oh, hey, look, there's just a raise in our back line.
Yeah, there is just a raise in our back line, as Professor's going to come out, and the Killjoy also going to be dropped, so lockdown going to be applied, as the Sova drone going to find some value there. Little chip damage done by paint shells as they try to aggress onto this A site, but you haven't gotten the plant down yet. There is no seconds left in the Killjoy, so you have to get this hammered down, unfortunately. I mean, fortunately for them, there's not a ton of space taken back by Utica on this in this 5v3 scenario, but a little spam may be able to find something a little bit interesting as Shifty's getting aggressive.
Oh, Shifty's putting the grave and more like it. Chaser has been doing good work, continues to do so at the moment, but Sano, another delivery, double kill for this Jet. And CSI, their double duelists, dueling deadly. Sano for 3. And what Shifty couldn't do, Sano will take advantage and do themselves. Double digits for the double duelist.
Double controllers. Oh, we're getting a timeout from Joyce right now. So I like to see that, you know, just, hey, let's take a deep breath. What I do really like seeing out of Utica right now is they're doing a real good job of setting each other up, right? Like, you see the kill spread, it's in between 14 and 10 across the whole board. They're trading very efficiently. It's just, you know, a lockdown gets applied. It puts that pressure on, and retake on A, I would argue, is a little bit more difficult than retake on B.
Can I caveat that just slightly?
Absolutely.
I think they're trading well in the early rounds. In the early stages, they're doing a great job of that. Unfortunately, in the later rounds, that's when the big plays have started to come alive for CSI. And we just saw it right there with Sano.
Yep. You're absolutely right about that. And it really comes down to that individualistic fragging, right? Because just, you know, Viper's been doing so much work for Utica right now. Like, and I'm sorry, I just completely blanked because we don't have the scoreboard up. I love that. But yeah, the Viper for Utica has just been doing work and getting those kind of mid-round frags and applying that pressure. And that's been the main reason why they've been able to win these defense rounds. And when you kind of lose that because you're not able to effectively trade. So yeah, Chaser, I should have known that. But yeah, Chaser's been doing a phenomenal job.
Yeah.
And when you're not getting that value out of him in the mid round after the plant goes down, it seems like they kind of just fall apart a little bit. So I want to see them just maybe get a little bit more inventive with it. Obviously, you don't really have a comp to get too aggressive here, but maybe try to take some space together, get some trades, and just give them a different look. It doesn't have to be continuous. Maybe just around, give them something different, because it's looking like a lot of the same right now, as this is just everybody off of A site and is essentially going to be a free plant again, most likely.
Yeah, I think this is them getting a little creative, though. Because the Hunter's Fury going to be able to deny the spike planter, at least temporarily. Fordo will put that back down. Then the run it back can come in. That's another bit of utility that could be good. Now that's into a Viper's Pit, and that's going to be sent back. The Showstopper, in the meantime, doesn't find any value, but there's still the null command available. Could be pulled out here and now to allow this retake to be that much more effective with a 5-player, just a 5v5 as well. That could have been the changer, but no. Chaser just walking in. There comes the null command eventually there. And it's a ridiculous amount of utility on this site. Utica going for the defuse, and Loney didn't hear it. Loney doesn't even know what's happening.
Either that or knowing that it takes 2 operator shots to burst the bubble and then 1 to hit. It's probably just a better call to save anyway. You have an operator, it's something you definitely don't want to give to the defense, so I would much rather see him hold on to it there than try to get aggressive in a 1v4.
Could have used the Hunter's Fury though to shoot through the bubble. So
it's also fair. It does not block utility.
Yeah, maybe just didn't hear it. Either way, you're right. The off do anything. That was for sure. And they're gonna get a force buy around it. This is a good force buy though. I like this. Blade Storm could be used. Hunter's Fury still in the back, so if they get onto the site, it could be deadly.
It could be deadly, but so can that Viper's Pit. Just if you get lucky enough to catch somebody off guard here, is Sano just wrapping around the back side, and this just perfect positioning. Unfortunately, of course, it is, oh my, pushing in. And Chaser has to bail out of this. It's crazy.
Oh no! Anchor had the back of Chaser. Beautiful teamwork right there from Utica. And despite the fact that the initial frag comes at the expense of that Viper's Pit, right? Like, that doesn't happen if the Viper's Pit's not there. You don't have that location that the Jet can get into. It's even better, though. Those second couple of kills that come through for Utica onto CSI forces them back. And 45 seconds, spike back towards A.
It's enough time to rotate here, but obviously Utica has the hard read on this. I don't think this is going to be an issue for them, as Fordo trying to do some work here. I mean, obviously Dart not good enough to ping anybody. They might be able to get a plant down, but I don't know if they're going to get much more value out of this. As Joyce tries to swing, Anchor's actually going to find one as well. So it's going to be a 2v4 once again, and oh my, just the side swings over here as Loney's just going to drop the op and be like, yeah, this probably isn't it, Chief. They're going to consume the Hunter's Fury as well. Nope, they're just going to swing with the classic, go, hey, go ahead and kill me. This is a fun time. And it's a tie game once again. Now, you said earlier, Vincent, that the double duelist were at double digits. Well, guess what? The double controllers are right here behind them.
That they are. You know, and I love that they took the time out ahead of that crazy chaotic round to just figure out what the plan was for all those ultimates. They had 4 going in, as did CSI. So it was 8 ultimates available in that round, and I think it was 6 of them that got used from, you know, across both sides. Utica just taking the extra time to figure out, okay, what do we do if they do this? We're going to play retake on A, etc., etc. It's given them those 2 rounds. They've made the moves, and they've tied the game. CSI, I think CSI right now, if they win this map, probably win the series because of how good they are in Haven. So this is a very big moment for Utica.
It certainly is. And AMG has a nice little lurk here as well, as Sano going to go ahead and push up. We're going to see if they can find anything. Sano's been the artist, just the Picasso of First Blood so far in this map number 1 in between these 2 teams. We're going to see if he can find some more value here. Is Aloni just going to walk up? There's the paint shells committed. Push somebody just a little bit further on, and Loney, oh my, the flank from AMG, but doesn't find the value of the Spectre damage range being nerfed. Hurts a little bit as HT actually only took about 20 chip damage there. Luckily enough, Shifty is able to get the frag, but Chaser going to be there with the trade immediately as AMG. Here in Kitchen, just lurking around, having a grand old time. Bomb is down. That's going to be very interesting to see. Another 4v2. It always seems like it ends up this way.
It does, and if it weren't bad already, the Hunter's Fury is still available. They've still hung on to that for ages. Great position, but no, Anchor not there. Hunter's Fury used and abused. It is a confirmation for Fordo. An 11th round for the Dolphins. What's the money like? Is this a good situation? Yeah, it'll be good enough. Plenty, in fact, for Utica. In fact, they'll have money the rest of this game.
Yeah, theoretically they should. And I mean, obviously you're looking at CSI's money as well. It's pretty evenly balanced. So whoever wins this round, obviously going to have a little bit more utility brought in. But Chaser being at 4,500 and Joyce being at 4,600 allows you to just go ahead and buy those guns for your teammate, win or lose here. Really interesting to see kind of what goes on in this round as we see another huge mid hit by CSI. They've been shut down on this before. Is it going to be any different? No, HT finding it. Actually about a Phantom this time. Did he expect the mid push? Because he's been playing Vandal for most of this game.
You know, it might have been that, or just, you know, popped it in. Could have carried it over as well.
Yeah.
No, actually, I lied. Utica lost that round. What am I saying? Sano saying a whole lot with very little words. 2 bullets, 2 frags is all that was required. Here's the reckoning.
You should run. 1 enemy remaining.
A lockdown to answer. Anchor, how do you continue to get so close, man? Like, I don't understand. And it's actually crazy looking at the scoreboard right now because the double duelists are at the top and the double controllers right there with them at the top for Utica. So it's a very, very different composition. They're both being effective, at least on their agents, right? CSI, though, a little bit more effective. Currently on map point, a lot of money in their hand. And, I mean, obviously, Anchor, having to bring the light shields in isn't ideal, but I don't think it's that big when 4 Vandals are being used on the other side.
Remember the point you made a little bit ago about, you know, just swapping it up, giving a different look to your opposition? That's what CSI did in that last round. They just gave it a little different look by putting so many players towards that mid area. They're actually putting the toxic screen there once again, but the main push, it's headed back towards the A side. Oh, what a shot that was. Not going to be denied, but Anchor and Joyce, they brought this back. It's even. And for the map 1 victory.
Yeah, I mean, Utica, of course, sitting here on map point and just kind of relying on this retake. Fordo going to take a little bit of chip damage, going to be down 40. This is even guns, even everything, but Loney's going to find 1. We're going to see the Cove go down. We're also going to see the run it back get popped, but Fordo going to find 1. This might be deadly. We also saw the Nano Swarm popped right there. Huge swing coming out. And that is going to do it right there. Fordo, the perfect swing at the perfect time, able to get map number 1 in this quarterfinal.
Yeah, that was a little unfortunate, to be honest, with the run it back. It's just a bit unlucky, but just the timing on that swing, creating the 1v1, heard the audio cue as well of the player going around the box on the site and just knows to take that fight at that time. Really just an impressive showing from CSI. And the other thing to note is that wasn't even their map pick.
No, it was not. And, you know, we mentioned it earlier coming into this that, you know, Staten Island was 4-3. They are the lower seed. And to come in and just be ready enough to go ahead and take somebody's first map pick off of them, I think that's massive, and it definitely bodes well for the future of this series. And like you said, they have a magnificent haven. So like you look at it, you really set yourself up for success here. Congrats to CSI on map number 1. However, I think Vincent and I need a little bit of a breather, so we're going to be right back after a quick break. We're going to be taking a trip to Haven. Be right back. You don't want to miss it.
Set up, I could see it from all the way down there, and I thought it was a person. And I stood there for like 5 minutes, and I was like, why is he standing like that? And I thought it was like a smooth criminal. I thought somebody was giving us like a Michael Jackson impression, and then it was a mannequin. I was really embarrassed to admit that. Oh my God, that's a lot of people. Hold on, let's go over this window. Let's go over this window. It just keeps going. There's so many people outside. There are so many people outside. We're gonna interview people when they come in. I don't really want to go outside. It looks like it's gonna rain, and this suit is new, so. Oh, there's Doc Haskell. Hi, Doc. How are you? He brings a full notebook with him and like writes notes down. It was pretty insane. He had it yesterday. He's going to be coming through this metal detector right here. I don't know his name though, but I recognize his hair.
Jen.
You're Jen? All right, we're going to interview Jen, who's supporting Kennesaw. I'm going to ask you like a couple of very simple questions. Okay. Are we ready? All right, great. College. I really like Georgia College's color scheme. It's just red, white, and blue, I think, but I think they did it in a really clever way. Mineral area wearing hoodies, even though it is 75 degrees outside here in Atlanta, Georgia. Absolute legends.
If only Nick could hear you. Nick, come back.
If he's over 100 feet away, he can't.
You were whispering something, and he started smiling. I'm like, are you whispering?
Oh yeah, because he's got his headphone in if we're close enough. But
bless you.
Gesundheit. Gesundheit again. You're welcome. I'm gonna go find him. Oh, there he is. Oh my. Oh, okay. Real stuff is starting. Real stuff. Competitive integrity needs to be upheld. We gotta get out of here. Yeah, I don't want to get in trouble. I get really embarrassed when I get yelled at.
30 is
Okay. Wow, it's not 10:30 yet.
It's only barely 10.
Woo! All right, it's gonna be a long. Hey, what's up? Surprise interview. Join me over here. We have a cool backdrop. What are we here for?
Rocket League.
Awesome. I'm not gonna ask what school you go to because unless you swapped hoodies, that seems pretty clear.
Nope. You know, I got my jersey on with my name on it.
Oh, you do? Show us your jersey. Look at John T. Turbo here.
Yeah,
that's not his name. I just keep calling him that.
Yeah.
His name is John, but
my name is John Turbesi.
Yeah,
that's
not John T. Turbo.
Yeah, I get the message to Nebraska where I met you.
Oh, that's so crazy. So context, if we're probably never going to use this, but we're going to talk about it. Turbo and I met at a LAN like over a year ago. That's so crazy. What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to the Collegiate Esports Commissioners Cup. I am Septilence, joined by a man I have interviewed probably well over 10 times. It's going to be my good friend Neb, here from Bay State Overwatch team. Neb looked at me, and before he started his last said, "We are not dropping a map for the rest of the day." And so far, he has lived up to that title. But Neb, is there anybody you're thinking, we've got to get them out of the way, we've got to take them down?
No.
No? Just looking at it, each fight's its own, every game, going into it, just taking it as it comes?
I have the confidence right now that we're not going to drop a single map.
I love Neb because not only is he confident, but he's correct. Bay State is one of the best Overwatch teams I've ever seen. So it's always good to hear. I love the confidence, and I love Bay State, so I hope they do a great job this weekend. So what qualifier, did you win a qualifier to get here?
At-large bid.
We're looking at Rocket League, we're thinking high odds, low odds, where do we think we're walking away?
I think pretty high. I think we're doing pretty good.
Is there anybody that you're looking at, you're like, please do not let us go up against them unless we absolutely have to?
I mean, really, everybody's good competition, so.
And sorry, what was your name?
Ethan.
Ethan from Mineral area.
Yep.
Very exciting. Well, Ethan, good luck.
Thank you.
We'll see you soon. What kind of pass? A player pass?
Let me get you a lanyard.
No, you actually have to like tape it to your chest, like really awkwardly with masking tape. Okay. And it's gonna fall off. Yeah. It's gonna be uncomfortable, I promise. That's a guarantee. Okay, cut that, I'm gonna sneeze. Okay, good. I'm great, everything's good.
Who do we interview? Who should we interview?
I don't know, I'm just here. I need caffeine.
What is going on, everybody, and welcome to the ECAC Top Plays of the Week. I am Septilence, and I'm super excited to walk through these with you so you can see all of the great moments we are getting out of collegiate esports. One of my favorite things about these seasons is as they go on, as the years continue to pass, the skill ceiling just gets higher and higher, and the teams get better and better. Starting things off in week 1 and 2, these teams came out the gate swinging. Let's take a look at what they were ready to bring out in these early weeks. Valorant is a game all about risk versus reward, and Sin from NYIT wanted to show us just how much he was willing to risk to get that great reward of a round win.
Forced to pop off, maybe get a little bit more sniper play, but these direct tight angles make it tough. You have Axeris that actually gets a wall bang headshot onto Prime. Oh, that timing on the paranoia works so well.
Yo, give it up for the util, bro. Sin's gonna pick up 3 into the site. It's a lurk on its way from the chamber, but unless you're gonna spam through this box, you're not getting anything done, and Panda won't even let him get that far.
Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is a game that can be decided in milliseconds, and Waka, one of the best players from SUNY Canton A Squad, wanted to show us just what they can do with only a second and a single stock on the board.
Cena, sledge option going to be charging forward smash, going a little early. They're not quite getting what you want. Drop shield after first hit, a pick, getting hit by the kick. High percent. There is the stun into Claw. That Claw could have been charged for a lot longer. Oh my goodness, that's a forwarder into stage with the stage spike and then upping immediately after. What a sick.
1 point in Rocket League can never make a team feel comfortable, but Driftsy wanted to show us that not only was he going to pick the pace up, but he wasn't going to let his team down.
Defensive test with flying colors, though they couldn't get out, and that is the important part at the moment. Clears a must for UA, and it's just not in the cards at the moment.
Dripsy! Dripsy connects off the backboard! What a shot! I watched it unfold slowly! You stopped speaking at just the right moment.
Hello and welcome back, everybody, of course, to Esports U. My name is Visionary1. Joined alongside me is Vincent, and we just watched a 13-10 extremely back and forth map in between, of course, Utica and the College of Staten Island. Vincent, I kind of got to get your final thoughts before we bring it up. Of course, we're going to be going into Haven, which you have just raved about CSI's comp and their, their composition and their strategy on that map. What does Utica really have to do to kind of bring it back here?
Yeah, I think that, I mean, CSI, they're just a solid team, and teamwork is one of the things that on Haven, particularly with the defensive side and getting aggressive, can just win you games all on its own. Not only that, they were hitting the shots in map number 1. So I think that Utica, there's 2 factors here. Number 1, they're gonna have to shoot back a little harder. The early stages of that map was not ideal for them, and they were getting outgunned a little bit. They brought it back, and respect to that, but they're going to have to continue that. And number 2, they're going to have to try and deal with some of that coordinated aggression that we have tended to see from CSI. But we got some more information as well, didn't we, over the break, about last time these 2 teams met.
Yeah, we did. It was actually a surprise 2-0 for CSI, even though they're the lower seed. They were able to win Haven, which I'm assuming is their map pick, and they came back around, and Lotus was map number 2, and they took Lotus as well. So a 2-0 in favor of CSI, and that was just 2 weeks ago. So these teams very familiar with each other, and I just have to bring this up, Vincent. Like, I love your actual analysis and bringing that knowledge. I'm just gonna go with the super basic thing. Like, Utica, if you want a shot, you can't let Sano just go crazy. Like 8 first bloods last game. Like, yeah. you have to find a way to trade him out and not let him get and snowball those double and triple kills in the opening parts of rounds.
I mean, you call it basic, but like that's just totally legit as well. You got to deal with the man just shooting your head off at the first 10 seconds of a round. When one player has as many first bloods or slightly less than the entire other team, that's a problem. Like, that's an issue that you need to deal with here. As we get into the action, Haven, already something that is very different than the norm, than I would say the meta. Because I'm a big fan of play what you're good at, especially for collegiate players that aren't, Northwood. But it's like, at the same time, not typical that you're going to see a Cypher over Killjoy here. Though I'm a Cypher stan. I do like me some Cypher.
I'm kind of sad we didn't get the game mode that they promised us on April Fools. It actually looked like fun. Just 76 tripwires all over the map. Would have been great.
You consider that fun? What is wrong with you?
I'm saying it would have been fun if you were on the Cypher team, not on the opposing team. But yeah, and we're kind of seeing non-traditional comps out of both sides. Obviously, we're going to see CSI also bring, and everybody in chat, go ahead and cheer now. We're going to be seeing a little bit of Wingman. We're going to be seeing some Dizzy, and of course, we're going to be seeing Thrash. So the Gecko getting brought out here for CSI on Haven. And I have to ask you, because obviously Gecko's been playable for around a month now, right? So they've only had about 2 weeks to kind of work out a quote unquote new strat and involving this character here. Have you seen it in action, and it's Sano on it?
So I have not seen Gecko played on Haven. I've seen it played other places. I mean, it's fantastic on Fracture. I think it's really good. It can be really good on like Lotus, for example, but I've not seen it experimented here. I think this is a little bit of a risk, but if there's one team that I think can maybe do it, CSI, they might be able to pull it off, particularly against this non-traditional comp themselves. Shifty's still on a duelist though, and still doing the dueling, winning those in fact, first frag.
I mean, good trades coming out. Actually, Spike's going to be down in mid, so that's going to be pretty massive as Joyce kind of chilling here. So Spike is dropped.
Spike is planted.
I'm sorry, I meant planted. I'm losing my mind right now. We're gonna see Sano playing here. Was not able to recover Dizzy, so you're not gonna have that second flash. However, you still should have Paranoia in the bucket right now if you did the proper Omen buy, as the Stim Beacon gonna come out. It's a full-on rush. Let's see if they can find anything from this. It's gonna be trades all the way up. HT207 has to go ahead and get this one. It's not gonna find it. So CSI with a mid rush in round number 1, taking the win. I kind of like the aggressive mid. At the same time, like, I always feel like B is just like a coin flip at all times.
It is definitely consistently that, except for on a pistol round, in my opinion. Like, if you get that forward positioning, take space towards the back of the site, then the pistol round is a lot more consistent than it is on gun rounds. Gun rounds, I agree. You're flipping a coin every single time. You might as well be playing slots. That's how random it is on the B side. With that said, an opening round, and it really didn't come down to the Gecko utility. It just came to Sano hitting shots again.
Yeah, and I mean, that's what Sano does. It's not really a surprise. Anchor's actually going to find one here as well. And Anchor, hello, finding two? We're talking about, you know, the Cypher for the Killjoy a little bit. Oh my gosh, the timing on this. I'm just going to cut everything off. How is this in? Unfortunately enough, Professor's not able to land the first shot with the Classic. It's going to be dropped as it is going to be, you know, a 1v2, but a good trade here by Joyce. This is honestly way too close, and Joyce is able to find it. It's a thrifty? How are they able to bring that back with Classics?
I mean, just good trading, good spacing, and good refragging. And unfortunately as well, that Ares running out of bullets at the wrong time. It is a ridiculously long reload on that gun. And so if you do happen to run out of bullets, which is hard to do, but if you do, you are most certainly dead if you get caught out in the open. It looks like CSI going to go for a rebuy of their own. They're not done with this. They're going to force buy, and this could be very dangerous for them, or it could work out very well. This Chaser does some good driving of that guiding light.
It's all about just finding the values guns. If you're able to get that done, you're going to be just fine. This Chaser going to go ahead and hawk out once again. Not going to find anything, but you're going to find one right there. Shifty updrafts, gets punished for it. Chaser finds three, just holding down this site. The reload going to come in. Fordo going to be able to find one as Anchor takes down another. And unfortunately, this force buy from CSI, they're going to be broke, and Utica is going to be banking off of this.
And there's no plan to get a little extra cash either. That's the problem, or a problem. There's more than one. Yeah, that force buy felt not outrageous. I could understand considering they were able to get so much out of it. They had a lot of cash left in their pockets, but it just didn't work out. Got a couple of sheriffs this time, at least, alongside a marshal. So team those two up. That could be a deadly combo.
No charges left.
But it's going to be a eco round all the same.
Yeah, and I mean, we're seeing a little bit of a default action coming out from CSI. They've been shut down, and obviously you're waiting for that over-aggression just to find yourself a gun. It's not really going to happen, though. Utica, if they've been anything this entire time, and we commented on Icebox as well, they've been patient. We continue to see them just hold their sights, play it smart, as, you know, Loney looking up the mid right now here in Garage. Let's see if they find any value out of this. No, it's going to be the Trailblazer coming out, able to find one, and Shifty's going to be able to find a frag, though, so this is going to be pretty much even. No, Shifty finds two? Are you kidding me? As two more fall, it's going to be a 3v3.
This is crazy. CSI, they've turned this around. Shifty has a Blade Storm. Could toss this gun over to a teammate, possibly, to make the difference. That Neural Theft coming forward, but now Thrash is an available player on the field just about. I don't know if these Seekers are going to come forward for Utica, but what I do know is if Thrash comes out at the right time, that could seal the deal for this round.
Certainly could. And there is Thrash. It might be a little bit early, and nobody's going to be able to catch it. It's going to be thrown out, and I don't think they found any. Actually, they got the Sky in the back of the site. It's not going to matter too much. A lot of chip damage being done. Couple good flashes. Dizzy gets one. Loney's going to find it. Sano finds the pick. It's going to be Chaser, and Chaser is going to find it. It's just an unfortunate miss from Sano, and I feel like that's the first time I've said that this entire map.
It's not even the miss that's the problem. It's actually the gunfight in and of itself. Why in the hell are we taking that gunfight? There's just no reason to take that fight. This fight was already taken so far. If they just played a little bit more passive instead of going for the gunfight, I think Santa wins that by just playing the defuse instead of playing their life. Just a tough decision, sure, but I think the wrong one.
Yeah, you haven't heard of the new stat though that Sano is now chasing, right? It's called Last Bloods.
That makes sense. That's fair.
Yeah, he had 8 First Bloods, so he wants 8 Last Bloods this game. Obviously playing a little bit different role, but
it's like a final kill in COD.
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly. You get the kill cam, It's important as the guiding light. Going to get some value. It doesn't know how many they spot, but it's quite a bit. Is Chaser. Get Chaser off of B. If you got Chaser off of B, maybe you have a shot here, but it is looking very strong for him right now. It's been a great performance, just like it was in map number 1.
I would say stop going B. There's also an option, though. At least they're going to get the spike planted. Moshpit's going to go down. That's going to at least stall things out for a few seconds. I think that windups, what, just 2.5-ish seconds. Sando's gonna fall thereafter, but Shifty comes around the corner. The Blade Storm working wonders. The Orbital Strike available, but not anymore, as it's Fordo gonna find the frag. These blades, they can be deadly, but there's just one of them left, one of them remaining, and now it's none from the shadows. Well, that's ambitious. Little info gathered, but the spike, it's continued to tick, and it's ticked very long now. Shifty alone, popping out and getting fragged back. There should be enough time.
Oh, it's more than enough time. They're going to be chilling, you know, like 0.5. We're vibing. Oh, 1.3. Okay, my math's off. My math's
Three
off.
times out. Come on, what is this?
I know, right? That's terrible. That's terrible. Imagine having an accounting degree and being that far off. That's crazy.
Couldn't be me.
Yeah, it is me, though. That's the sad part here. Chaser 7-4. CSI, take a time out and just, you know, talk amongst yourselves and realize we shouldn't go B when Chaser is hitting his shots like this. Because the ability to stay alive there too, right? Like, got flashed, got the one, and still able to get out. And we saw Chaser last time, of course, on Viper. So not really escapability, but the ability to have a guiding light and maybe get yourself out of dodge is definitely useful. And we see kind of this right now coming out to sea. We know that Cypher's been here the majority of the time, and Anchor's kind of just had free roam, because even I guess my biggest problem with CSI so far is every single time they've tried to take B, they have not gotten garage control. And that is so important to be able to win on the B site.
They had it last round. They won it last round. Shifty walked through garage and got a kill on the flank. It just didn't matter. CSI, the problem for me for CSI is that they just want to be proactive with these fights, and they need to not take the fight.
Take flight.
That's now the, I think, second round in a row that if they were just a little bit more passive, they might have had the victory.
That's a fair sentiment as well. Why are you going B again?
He's where you buy guns. Shifty's in spawn, dude.
Oh my. Okay. Finally, they're able to take out one on B, and so that's going to be huge. The spike is going to be planted right now, as it's looking like it's going to be a difficult retake scenario once again, but let's go ahead and just jump from the heavens and see what happens. Is Joyce just going to drop down, does not care about the damage, because they are and run it back, trying to take that space. It's looking like it may be effective, and the time has run out, unfortunately. HT07 going to be here, and here is potentially the orbital storm not going to be found, although he does find a frag. It's looking bleaker and bleaker by the moment, Vincent.
Placing swarm grenade.
Just a little bit too late taking the gun out. Wanted to use the utility, but despite there being no detain, there's no more life for HT07. Lodi will fall, but that's a gun round victory for CSI. And listen, I'm not going to say I was right, but they didn't go B.
I think that's the key to winning this game for CSI at this point, is don't go B.
Yeah.
I hate to break it into those terms right now, but with Chaser playing the way that he is, you know what? Maybe you could go B this round because they have pistols, but I still wouldn't subject myself to that. Play your gun advantage. Go take C. Go take the longest angle that exists on Haven.
Please just don't go B when they have pistols. There's so many angles just for a shorty to exist in. It's so tragic.
It is.
Speaking of shorty existing, hello Anchor. How's it going?
That's great bait too. Are they going to be able to spot it? Is the question. They are. Anchor is going to be dropped. Fordo is going to get the plant down, and this is going to be a quick C take right here. Of course, for CSI trying to bring this back, get within one. Shifty kind of just lurking around in spawn. That is a good job by Shifty. Able to find one, but hey, sometimes you got to play your life, man. Hold on to that Vandal. Money's been spotty for you.
Yeah, I was just about to say. I mean, listen, great work from Shifty to get that frag, but that's exactly the type of play that I've been talking about has maybe been not ideal for CSI this game in particular. Joyce gonna move forward. Fordo with the trade, and this will be a save called away. Might not even get away with it. Professor is gonna be walking into the crosshairs of two players. Insano will eventually get there.
One more.
So good adjustments.
Buddy, it's over.
And, you know, whilst it looked a little bit more dominant than it was for Utica, it's a 4-3 scoreline.
It certainly is a 4-3 scoreline, and now Utica gets to buy, so we're going to see how they do on another almost gun v gun round. I'm pretty sure a teammate's going to buy up Loney here as well. Fordo doing a great job this game on Omen, 8-4. Actually out fragging Sano, who was just, you know, honestly crazy last time, and doing a good job of it. So we're going to see what they can kind of bring to the table here. It's going to be a gun round, and CSI, don't push B.
Looks like they're not going to do that, at least for the opening stages of this one. Back towards the C side, at least the spike is located. I do like how varied the approach to the Cypher has been. That has been something that I've noticed, is that they've not had that committed in pretty much the same spot any rounds.
No, and I mean, that's part of playing an Oh My Chaser and HT. Just have yourselves a day. That is 5 straight kills, and I was wondering how that gun round was going to go. We got our answer. It's flawless. It's absolutely flawless. But back to my other point, like playing a Sentinel, it's like holding an op. You want to be able to catch the team off guard every single start of the opening round. So if Cypher is going to be on different sites, it's imperative to actually get them moving, get them going around, and just ensure that they don't know exactly where they're set up every time, because there's nothing more readable, honestly, than somebody playing the same angle or the same site every single time they're there. So it's a very, very good job by Utica just to kind of rotate the Cypher around. And it actually allows you to have a little bit more freedom on CNA, because the Killjoy utility, while it does get you a ton of information, it doesn't allow you that freedom of movement that we've seen out of Utica on this defense so far.
Well, this is a ambitious from the Shadows play. It's just the standard. Just get up into Heaven, play for it, and I guess the worry about that Heaven player allows Shifty the space to walk into this, and oh my goodness, AMG, how did he dare so fast? It does a lot of damage. What? Wait, what? Did you see that?
Yeah, there was a secondary peek, and they had the pixeliest of pixels to go ahead and peek upon. It's Forno gonna go ahead and just eat their Nano Swarm. They don't care about, or the Nano Swarm that was thrown. They don't care about that. They're just gonna get the frag, and 5-4. Back and forth we go, and as much as I hate to say it, this is looking so much like map number 1, where Utica kind of pulls out early, and CSI pulled out early, and then Utica kind of came storming back a little bit. It's just back and forth in between these two teams, but the momentum definitely right now in CSI's favor.
It is. Though if you look, Utica, they've had these ults for the last 2 rounds now. Of course, that round just a moment ago, they sort of won it pretty easily. So I'd like to see them have a plan for that this round. It's like not so much a plan, at least in the early stages. Just a fast A attack for CSI.
See if you can find value. It's going to be Shifty. Done a great job on the jet with the entry, but Professor's going to find one. Sano is going to find another. Joyce just playing the back of sight. I mean, Joyce has been A every single time, but it hasn't really seemed to matter yet. As the curveball going to come out, there is the headshot from Joyce, doing a great job of holding this site down. Going to go ahead and use the hot hands as well. As Thrash is going to get shot up, the ultimate basically burned right there. This Killjoy just trying to come back onto site. CSI extremely split, not able to actually utilize that lurk by any means, just because of how quick everybody fell on site.
Well, that's a good refrag. AMG taking that. Ooh. An attempt being made at the very least. Just to get some recovery done, gather some area of effect, and maybe just figure out where 2 of these players are located. I already know where one is. Sniper. No brim. Chaser with a headshot towards the final frag. It's 6-4. Utica, you know what? They've recovered from the recovery. I'm saying it now.
It's the recovery of the relapse, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I think that makes sense.
Yeah, that works. So we're pushing forward right now. Heavy buys coming out once again from CSI. I mean, you see a Spectre and Light Shields. They're not even going to play follow the leader here. They want everybody to have a gun in hand. Although, if Utica wins this one, that economy is going to stably start building towards the end of this half. Of course, there's 2 more rounds there. They should be pretty solidified, as the Guiding Light not going to be able to find anything right off the rip. And we're seeing that kind of push in towards B. And look at it this time. Utica's just leaving it completely open, trying to play their gun advantage, and just planning on playing retake. As we're going to get to see a Wingman plant unless they rush in and take it down. Wingman's going to be taken down. How can you do that to my boy?
Tough task there. The lockdown will force back the defense for the time being. But, oh, that was actually a good timing on the orbital strike coming out. That's denying the plant even further. In fact, it finds Sano. That should not have happened. Run it back. Going to be used there after very quickly. Over to C. Is the spike going? Shifty there. We'll put the spike down in the ground. So that run it back won't find value. 4-on-4 blades the only ultimate left on the cards.
And it's retake time right now. Fordo in this just ratty position. Gonna find one. Are they gonna be able to find another? No, it's gonna be HGO7 hopping around the side, but AMG finds two with a Spectre, and Shifty's gonna find this one as well, putting Utica only with a 1-round lead right now. CSI taking that round, doing a phenomenal job of it. It looked like the round kind of fell apart, especially after Sano just got taken out by that orbital strike, right? But they were able to bring it back together, regroup, take C, be successful.
I'm not gonna lie, AMG is giving me like Steel vibes when he was playing on Sentinel role.
I can see that.
Yeah, that's the vibes I'm getting. Like really, really good, just lurking, happening for AMG, multi-fragging, pulling a lot of rotations. One of the things though that I've noticed for CSI that has been their undoing, and that I want to keep an eye on here in the last round, is that when it gets chaotic, when they split up, that's when they struggle.
And I mean, you're playing together, but you're playing on the site that's the easiest to retake right now, which just makes it a little bit more difficult for yourself. You do get the plant, but you've already been smoked off by Brim. You have Chaser in here with a Stinger, might be able to get some value out of a quick swing, but it's going to be Fordo. Gets the headshot, almost pays for his life with it. 33 health remaining here. And look at all the people starting to swarm over the top on B site. Tap does come out, the spray, everything. The rotation by Professor not going to work. He's not able to dodge enough bullets from that close. Is they're able to find one? Are they going to be able to find another? The TP, the Omen play. Oh my, looking like Flex Ninja out here. Beautiful play by Fordo. The smoke down, the TP up, and putting everybody else down 6 feet.
Yeah, and that's where that trotted step, man, it's not the most overstated audio cue, you know? It can be quite silent when it wants to be, and with all of the shooting going on, all of the abilities going out, that shrouded step just got fully covered off at 6-6. A half that I think both teams should be pretty happy with. Number one, for the CSI side, right? Like, you went down really quite significantly early on, so a good recovery. But at the same time, Utica, they played very well throughout. I think they deserve a lot of credit for that. CSI can stay out of the problems that I mentioned there a couple of rounds ago, then I think they're in position, though, to win this game.
Smoke's down. They certainly can be. Obviously, Haven's kind of one of those 50-50 maps that can get it, but I'll tell you one thing, that curveball, basically unavoidable after it was buffed, and it's going to get the value there to find the opening frag. Plant's going to go down on C, and this was just a huge rush. All of the Killjoy utility essentially been removed as well, so you're talking about a 40-second cooldown. As Joy's going to find 3 on the round? Pop off. Have yourself some fun on a pistol.
Massive moment. That turns this tide. We talked about pistol rounds and how important they can be. This one near a flawless, not quite, but almost there. And Utica will take back the lead. They lost temporarily. And a good pistol round at that. Just basic stuff. There wasn't anything fancy. Just a curveball on the site, get that frag, and then trade yourselves out. Double push towards the flank. Got nothing at all. And just winning the duels. HCO7, it's a bit of a controller type of game, isn't it?
I mean, it was a controller type of game in the first game too, because we had 2 controllers on top for their team for Utica. So I mean, it's kind of like whatever. Is Dizzy just going up high there? I don't think that's going to be recoverable, unfortunately. So it's going to be a little bit difficult. You lost the flash, but this is coming in right now. Just everybody coming up mid. Joy's going to get another first blood, and they really seem to turn it on. I think that's the big difference so far, that we're seeing Joyce being able to be aggressive, but just find value at pretty much all moments.
Yeah, much better from the Phoenix on this map, just in general. But I think that also goes to show this map's just a lot better for Phoenix in general. Like, this is where in the past you could just play a Phoenix if you wanted, and it wouldn't be unreasonable. This is the only map really that was true, other than Fracture as of late. But point being, Joyce has been enabled. Has certainly had the struggles in map number 1, but it's no longer the case. 14-9. And already has the run it back as well. That can be used in what is now the bonus rounds to get a massive advantage. Bonus round victories, especially with just 5 Spectres, rare as they are, can turn the tide of a game.
They absolutely can. It's deflating. Like, it's a gun you shouldn't be losing to, but luckily enough, Haven just has a few of those angles on it, just being smaller, that you can kind of take advantage of having a Spectre and the fire rate being a little bit higher, as one's hit right there, and it's going to be Loney being able to take out Joyce, getting a little aggressive after getting tagged, but you know what? We're on the C site. They were a duelist. They were able to take up the space, and that's all you can really ask for is the retake coming in quickly right now. As yeah, Shifty's gonna find 2 in the back site, and it's just bodies dropping. But Anchor, you have an opportunity here. Can you capitalize? There's 1, but you've been discovered. There's 2. The defuse is gonna go down though. Hey, you get a vandal out of it. Not a terrible deal.
This is a good bonus round though. Like, you've gotten 3 players down. You save a rifle. This economy is gonna be great. Look at Anchor. It just has so much money left in the bank account. $2,000 as well for Joyce. They're doing well. And look at the other side. It's brutal. It's not good. Bucky in hand there for Fordo, though has a lot more money. I would prefer to see anything else in the Bucky. I mean, as fun as it is, like, the Bucky's just not it.
I mean, it's not it until somehow somebody gets a 3K in your face with it, and you're like, wait, I thought the Bucky was garbage.
I mean, yeah.
It's one of those guns that can surprise you, and I mean, you're obviously on defense as well, so it makes a difference. As Shifty's actually going to be able to find 2.5 here because they got the run it back, as well as HTO7 going to be able to find a refrag, but it's still a 3v4, and Sano alone on backside using this Bulldog. Oh my, it's just a giant collapse onto A, and luckily enough, CSI has the gun advantage. They also have a tie game now, 8-8.
I disagree. They didn't have the gun advantage. They
right.
had the Bucky. But yeah, Shifty just shot them all, and that helps. Yeah. Also, taking out that run it back so that it doesn't get any value is just humongous as well. You really can't understate the importance of that. And Joyce getting shut down. Now it's Utica's turn to have the crap buy indeed for snipers. You know, two stingers and then an actual sniper.
See what they can. You can't. Yeah, Shifty's just free value. Like, I'm just gonna walk down B. Y'all haven't even put anybody in garage the entirety of this match so far. So let me just go ahead and walk down and just peek into grass. And guess what? There's a frag right there. Is El Professor just gonna lurk in this smoke? And I mean, it's just look at the patience again. So you get the opening frag. Look how far back Shifty is playing on CT right now.
And there's no reason to be aggressive as Loney just walks out mid, okay? But, you know, the point is, so you don't need to be aggressive, like I was saying. Great point about the player towards CT. It's just like, chill out. No need to take those swings. Make Utica take that first engagement. Make the decision to find the space. And Sano has a lot of ground that's currently being covered. I don't know if they're going to expect him so close.
I mean, that's just one of the angles you have to kind of check, but at the same time, I've missed it about 17 times, and there's Sano with 1. Dizzy's going to come out, get the flash, but he's going to lose his life in the process. Doesn't matter that he's covered, and El Professor going to find Loney as well, who's kind of overextending in mid. We're going to see also the Neural Theft going to come out, so everybody's going to be discovered, realizing, hey, there is 2 on A, and look at this positioning right now. Can they get the timing? No, AMG is going to somehow stay alive.
And AMG falls even further back, hearing audio cues that it's going to be over towards garage. Back to the C site is the plan at hand. The Nanoswarms pop out. That could be a problem. Spike just now getting planted. It was close, but I think they had it down just about a second to spare. But Shifty pushes forward. 2 already, but a 4th there for Shifty on what is a very scary round for CSI, but ultimately a win and a retake of this lead.
A retake of the lead, a retake of the site, and a retake of the opportunity right now. Utica kind of clawing their way back. It seemed like they had that round in pretty good hands, and it just falls. And now CSI starting to build that momentum. You talked about their Haven comp. This one obviously different. Running Gecko, right? It's just not something that we've seen so far, but they seem to be successful in it, and that's predominantly off the ability of Shifty just to kind of shift where they're playing, no pun intended, and be able to just kind of get in the heads and get free frags and get out for free. We've seen it a lot so far for CSI on defense, and I'm looking forward to seeing this continue. Guiding Light gonna at least spot them, but is that just on site or is that all the way in Cubby? We're gonna have to find out.
Oh, did that Trailblazer spot him? I think it did. And that's why we see the Smoke him out. Just fall back. Okay, that's ultra aggressive. Sano just taking fights all the way into spawn. Sano for 2 before they get felled. And this making it so much more difficult. Okay.
I mean,
what?
Paranoia. Joyce got paranoid from B, and Omen pushed down and just kind of fell into the lap right there of Loney. And Loney's going to find another one here, potentially 2. Yeah, make it 2. 3 on the round. Great job right there from Loney, just kind of picking it up. And it's calculated aggression that we're seeing, right? It's not anything that's crazy. I mean, you see, of course, the big push coming out from Jet on C, but it doesn't really matter. They get into Cubby, they're able to get out with their life because they have the cloud burst, and everything just kind of goes back around, and everybody comes out and pushes out a B as soon as they had the idea that they were going to go C.
Yeah, and what started out as Utica being able to find rounds in this half has now turned into CSI, despite their mistakes. And there's been a lot of them. I mean, that round where Loney just kind of walked out mid and gave away a free frag almost through the round, really. That was close. Shifty had to get 4 frags. But when you're hitting the shots like currently CSI are, it doesn't matter. You can make those mistakes and you get away with it. So it's just going to have to be up to Utica in this timeout to recognize that those mistakes are being made, that there are options, and that, well, when they spot those out, they got to take advantage of them.
And I mean, great usage of a timeout here, right? Because you get essentially now you get to kind of bake in 2 rounds to come up with that strat, because you're not going to be full buying here by any means if you're Utica, right? Like, you're sitting here, you're looking at this, you're like, our money, we're not really going to force up. So you have this round essentially or the timeout and this round to kind of talk about, okay, how are we going to approach our next gun round? Because it's going to be on 11, right? You're not on match point yet, but you definitely don't want to be in a situation where you're going to have to bonus again. So that's going to be the most pivotal round we've seen. It's looking like it's going to be the Rush B strat that is so common on eco rounds.
Yeah, but when you have a judge like this is more reasonable. The weaponry is there. Of course, it doesn't hurt if you have an AMG on the other side, just shooting heads. That's a nice find, and they didn't know about Shifty the whole time. They had no idea. That's brutal. This is why the B-side sucks.
Yeah, facts. I mean, there's just so many off angles, so many high points that not only Jet can get up to, but Omen can get to as well. And you're look at the ult economy of CSI right now as well. This is going to be tough sledding ahead for Utica.
I was going to add to that, like, the B site doesn't suck. I don't mean that. What I do mean, though, is that going B early, it's just, there's so much utility that you're getting hit with. That's why you see teams that go B, they go B late. And that didn't happen. Utica, like you just mentioned, ultimates, they're not in the greatest of spots. 4 for CSI, just the orbital.
Well, you got Shifty. That's a start. So we'll see. Yeah, honestly, we're going to see how they build off of this round as a tag is going to be found, and Joy's going to be taken out after getting that frag, and also Anchor falling as well. That's a massive Hunter's Fury right there. Obviously, Killjoy utility being spotted on this C site. It's going to be even more difficult, and
You're getting flanked.
everybody. Oh my, Sano, this shouldn't be here for free.
Oh, they're so unaware of Sano's position now. Sano might take a little too much time, though. We'll keep an eye on that. Fordo putting down the smoke. Almost gets away with the shrouded step. Valiant effort, but not to be. The Seekers committed. Those Seekers might give it away, but no, the spray from Loney. Another kill. That's 2 with the Hunter's Fury, and then another there on the frag. And yeah, that rotate took a little bit too long to come to fruition for the Gecko.
Spike planted.
It's a shame too, but hey, at the end of the day, you're looking at it right now, 2v2 retake, and you're looking at Thrash being thrown out as well by CSI. A lot of ultimates committed in the last couple rounds here. They're trying to really secure this, but nothing's going to be found, so they're going to know both of these players are playing long, but the Molly lineup is available as well. That Incendiary might get some value. There's the tap, there's the Molly dropping, and
they got the half.
Yeah, they did get the half. Wow.
One enemy remaining. Last player standing.
At the very least, the Orbital Strike will continue to apply that pressure. The 1v1, but yeah, AMG, given enough time and, well, the information by shooting the bot, knows that that player was swinging wide, and 12th round. This is match point. This is not only that, series point and season point.
Match point? series point, season point, eco round for Utica here.
Damn.
Yep. Obviously, somebody's coming in. They do have 2 Vandals, 2 Bulldogs, a Guardian on HT07, who's had a magnificent game so far on Brimstone. I actually want to commend HT07. He's just been really able to find value, but now you have Shifty on an operator. We have a couple people looking like they're going to be leaning towards this site, and it's going to be a good usage, of course, of that cage. Just able to throw it off just a bit, and that operator going to be nullified for now, but like your tournament life is at stake. Why are you going B right now? Is Joyce able to get a refrag at least? 4v4 so far.
Is this the first op we've seen bomb Shifty at all? I think it might be.
Yep.
Sano sending Joyce back from whence they came. A bit of re-aggression. Not bad. AMG pushing forward, just getting information, or rather looking for information. Goodbye to the camera. It's still 4-on-4. The blades are still active though.
What a swing by Anchor. Honestly, that's massive. Getting wallbang, keeping your composure, and also getting the neural theft off. This is going to be massive for Utica to be able to try to go ahead and swing this round. It's going to be a retake, and it's just everybody kind of regrouping right now for CSI. They're saying, hey, we're going to play together. We know maybe somebody's low, but Cypher actually got healed up by Sky there, so that's going to be huge as well, as Anchor just holding this down, being a rat, and has the shots. Anchor has just always found a way to find some value out of their gun. And also there goes the Blade Storm for Shifty. That's also going to be an operator drop. It's going to be interesting to see if Utica is able to recover it. I don't think they will. I think it was dropped a little bit further away from the C site.
Yeah, no recovery there. But honestly, Shifty, go back to the rifle, okay, bud?
Yep.
You're so nuts with it that there's just no reason not to use it. It's not even like it's not even a slight at Shifty's opping. I'm sure it's great, but I want to see more rifling.
Yeah,
I'm enjoying that, you know. Sue me.
Yeah, I was gonna say Shifty is, you know, everything I want in a ranked jet player. Like, just go out, push some sites, get a bunch of head taps, like do my job for me. Yeah, Shifty go frag. I mean, it's the greatest IGL strat of all time, right? Like, just, hey, best player on the team, go kill.
Yeah, go shoot at them and we win. Yes, very good.
Yeah. Early B pressure again though coming out here.
I like the B pressure, to be honest, with this wingman. I think it gave away the audio cue. Mosh pit. Oh, that's tough. It would have been so perfect if it had not hit the wall. HCO7 though, it's away with one. Shifty. Through the smoke, finding that.
Shifty just continues to take people out. Anchor's going to find a refrag, though. Shifty going to have to bail off of this, and it's still looking like some slight aggression towards this. As Sano kind of lurking that A site. And you see, oh my gosh, the positioning from behind. I wonder if that spot has occurred just yet. Yeah, the Sova is going to be rotating back to C for CSI. So A site a little bit free right now. Chaser just trying to lurk up, find something as Shifty drops Joyce, and that's going to be massive, as Loney might be able to find some value out of this as well. Left. Oh my, what is the timing going to look like here? Are you going to check close left is the real question. Remaining. And you are. There's the gun. There's the shot. Utica down to about 40 HP. One Vandal shot to the body is all it's going to take for CSI to advance.
And 15 seconds. They just got to go. Shifty's going to have it. The 4K for Shifty, who just dominated time and time again to get this 13-9 victory for the Dolphins. College of Staten Island. They take that victory second time in a row that they beat Utica. And, I mean, we could call it an upset, but considering that, I'd just call that standard practice.
Yeah, essentially, that's all it was. They had the better game plan coming out. I mean, Double Duelist ended up working out on Icebox, and you see them. You talked about their Haven game, and it seems sketchy at times. They got a little over-aggressive. They got a little overzealous. At the end of the day, though, they were able to wrangle that back in, let Shifty do Shifty things, and not lose other key members of the team to those early peaks. I think that was the big thing. It was all the util that was available to them later in the rounds, as CSI does move on to the semifinals in a 2-0 sweep of Utica. And Vincent, I've loved what I've seen out of both these teams today. I'm not going to lie to you. Utica bringing out the double controller. It's a new take on Icebox just as soon as it's about to get dropped from the map pool. So I definitely love seeing just kind of those variations in composition. We saw a Phoenix run on 2 maps today. Never seen that in a college Valorant game that I have personally worked on. So I'm definitely excited to see that as well. really just comes down to, at the end of the day, CSI was just a little bit better at execution, and they had, I don't want to call it lady luck on their side, but they definitely had Shifty, and they made a world of difference on both these maps.
Yeah, that was Shifty's nickname in high school, was Lady Luck, actually. And it's not a surprise to any of us. What I do think is a little bit surprising was the sheer number of frags in that last map, 26 total by the end of the game. And that, I think it is fair to say that was a big difference. But I also want to shout out Loney, who at like halftime was basically like the same as where Professor ended. Was like 6 and 14 or something, 13 along those lines. Really stepped it up in those last 6 rounds to not only end the game at a pretty respectable scoreline, but getting a lot of value at that.
Yeah, I mean, they certainly were able to. Obviously, it doesn't show up completely on the assist numbers because there's 6. Of course, Smoke's getting that slight buff to the actual when they come out time and die. Obviously, you're seeing a ton more assist on Smoke characters than you are on initiators technically now, but it's still a great job. I mean, you get 6 assists, you're finding that value, you're finding that information, you're just steering the boat in the ship in the right direction, essentially, when you get to play a Sova on Haven, and I feel like Loney did that extremely well.
Absolutely. With that said, we are going to get to see Loney just a moment. I'm going to get an interview with them when we come back. Short break, interview up next.
For SVSU, tying up the series 7-7.
Hard B push here. 2 Omen Smokes coming out. 1. Oh, Spec just finds 3.
What?
Straight through the smoke? Oh, what, Spec? That's not legal, man. That's not legal. This is match day 2 of the ECAC league. You can't be doing that right now. Spec just goes with the call.
Here in this clip, Fanshawe finds themselves with their backs against the wall, 20 seconds left on the clock, and they're desperate to take down Wake Forest. They don't have anything to get through this team, they don't have any weapons on the field, but with Jackie Moon in the wings, at least they had a sniper.
Apparently. Guys gonna believe all the shots. Oh, a sniper! Jackie Moon from about midway through. What a shot right here from Jackie.
Wow, good eye sniper. Yes, sir. Jackie Moon puts us on the right side. A little bit more to the left. This one would have been...
Here in this clip, we're going to get a great moment from a Pac-Man, and as a Pac-Man player, I was super excited to see it. We're going to hear a lot of praise from our commentators giving Mosey those compliments of choosing Snake against Pac-Man, a great counter pick. They were super excited to see a Snake on the field, but even without their blessing, Trollery does not yield.
Approach, but like you said, he's trying to play this safe because losing a stock right now for Concord would be really bad. And, well, a little bit of commentator's curse there. We kind of willed that one into existence. Oh, man. Oh my goodness! What?
Now I know what you're thinking. Oh, Septilence, how could that be all we got from weeks number 1 and 2? Please tell me there's more. If you like what you saw, you've got to go check out ECAC Esports on all social media platforms. Please see what they're bringing to the table. It is great collegiate esports week after week. On the bright side, folks, this is just the beginning. We've got the whole rest of what is guaranteed to be a great season ahead of us. Thank you so much for joining me for this recap, and I'll see you on the next one.
Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win it life, I never miss that fact, taking big...
Is that we don't have these preconceived notions, and we're willing to listen to our membership and read the room, read college athletics and how it's connected and how it's not, and take what we have expertise in championships, but also throw out some of the other stuff. I remember when we first started, there were some conferences were applying their amateurism rules to all of their esports competitors, and I think we knew enough to know that no, that's not going to work in an esports culture. It's got to be very different. And by the way, the NCAA was going in a different direction. You could see the train had already left the station on that, and so it's an incredibly dynamic area and ever changing, and will continue to change. And just as we didn't know when we started what it's going to be looking like, I think similarly we still don't know what it's going to be in another 5 years. I know enough to know that all of us are still going to have a thriving esports program that's doing a real good service for our members and for our competitors. But we still don't know necessarily what some of that is going to look like, and that's pretty cool about it all. Let me ask you this, because you all are used to dealing with your athletic directors, and each of them are dealing with what's in front of them in their athletic departments. My guess is at least some of your schools are that this is not necessarily operating within the athletic department. And can you talk about how you navigate that in a conference office, and maybe the best way to handle that, or do you have preferences? Do you try to steer them one way or the other? And just talk a little bit about that, if you don't mind.
Sure. The majority of our schools are not under the athletics umbrella. We have one institution that perhaps by next year will be under the auspices of athletics, but most of them are in other departments across campus.
Right.
One of the things that has helped us is that we have support from the president's office. And so in order to participate in Mountain West events, you have to have an adult non-student administrator that oversees that, the esport program. And that's where we get assistance with, eligibility checks and, please complete your.
Hello and welcome back to Esports U. I'm Visionary One. Of course, joined by me is Vincent. We just saw a 2-0 victory for the College of Staten Island, and I couldn't be more happy right now because we have Loney on with the interview for us. And Vincent, you were actually singing Loney's praises right in the green room before we got him in here. So he's holding up the #1. He's feeling pretty hyped. Loney, how are you feeling after the game, man?
I'm feeling great. Good vibes all around. And after that 2-0 again, just couldn't be more happier.
So you guys walked into this as the lower seed, 4-3, with Utica 5-2. But the fact is, you guys beat them in the regular season. How did that happen? How did you guys go in as the lower seed after, beating out a team like Utica who went 5-2, and then how did that translate into today?
Well, it's always I feel like it's always good to be the underdog because you get that extra, the extra humph in what you got to do. And also throughout the regular season, I think we forfeited 2 games because of everybody handling their own personal situations and stuff. And so it's really like we knew we're a really good team. So those losses are like forfeit and stuff like that. But we try to keep it, keep it good vibes around and stuff like that. Like we were throwing in jokes in the game and stuff like that. Like I said last time, we just feed off that energy. And we had the same problem today. It was only 4 of us, and then we just managed to get that. Our boy, he was the 6th man to sub. He came on and he played phenomenal. The Omen there in the second half, and it was just really good.
Oh, that's awesome. Florida was playing incredibly well. So you're saying the vibes were immaculate, which is great news. But are those vibes going to change going into this next matchup? You are headed up against the #1 seed in New York Tech. Is that worrying?
I don't think we versed them. I think we actually forfeited because of the player problem, but we don't care. We don't care if you're #1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We take you on like you're in our way. So we're going to take care of you the appropriate way in how we do our games. We just go in there. We don't care who you are, not in a bad way or anything. Just we're here for us. We're here for CSI. We're here for each other. And that's what we're going to do.
That's definitely beautiful to hear, Loney. I got to ask you as well. Vincent over here was singing y'all's praises about y'all's Haven, but you threw a new wrinkle into the fold today by adding Gecko. Is that something that y'all have been working on? Did y'all just want to have some fun with it and, give everybody a reason to cheer and chat because Wingman is out? Like, how did that come about to actually start integrating that player or that agent into your composition?
Oh, I mean, it was sort of a last minute thing. He was like, you want to try out Gecko on this map? Shifty was telling Sano, and Sano said, you know what? Yeah, I'll hop on Gecko, and because that B site, it's hard to defend that B site when you throw the wingman in, and you don't know who if somebody's really planting, and I just think it's gonna be tough to work around Gecko and Haven especially. So, and two initiators, you got my drone to cover wingman, Jet's dash. It's really hard. So we felt that would be good to put it in there, and hey, it worked out. So we're happy.
Very nice. And I love the idea behind it, right? Being able to cover Wingman, because when he was shot at recent VCT, you could hear the crowd audibly boo, which I thought was hilarious. And Zelsis made a whole mockery of Wingman trying to plant.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of fun. I definitely love seeing just the diversity we're starting to see in college Valorant. It's not just straight bone comps anymore. People are having fun with it. More agents are kind of coming into the fold. And just want to thank you for showing us that gameplay today. And before we let you go, I mean, do you have any shout outs? Anyone in particular, anybody watching back at home that you would like to go ahead and give a shout to?
Shout out to, all the people who came out to watch. I appreciate you guys. We love you. Shout out to Shifty and Sano, dynamic duo going hard as per usual. And shout out to Sandy coming through. Shout out to our sub. He came on and he was crazy. He did so good, and he was making us laugh, and he was good. I told him I'll take him out to Texas Roadhouse after that performance. So I owe him one. And shout out to Alberto. He was happy we could come home with the win, and we're really gonna take this to the next level. And you gotta acknowledge CSI. Acknowledge us.
Love to hear it, Loney. Well, thank you so much for stopping by tonight. Good luck in your matchup next week, of course, as well, versus New York Tech. It's going to be a banger. So definitely looking forward to seeing what you guys can do in the rest of the tourney.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. All love.
Well, Vincent, that's going to about wrap it up here for us. It's been a very fun broadcast. I just wanted to give you the mic for a minute and see if you had any final words, any final thoughts about how this is kind of going to progress for the ECC.
I mean, listen, you heard Lodi. Y'all got better watch out for CSI. That is for sure. And I was looking at that. It makes sense. Obviously, we don't get the access to the back end. And I was looking at 4-3, and I'm like, I watched so much CSI last season, and they're better team than 4-3. I had a feeling. All right, I had a feeling, and I feel a little bit better knowing that was the case. With that said, lots of fun tonight, like you mentioned, but unfortunately, it is just about that time to end.
Yeah, it certainly is. So as always, we have to give a shout out to the heroes in the back end, of course, Leighton on the production and Rhino on the Observer. Guys, y'all have been phenomenal tonight. It's always great getting to work with Esports U, and y'all are part of the reason why that experience is great. But speaking of Esports U, we're going to have more for you tomorrow. We got the ECC League of Legends playoff finals here on Esports U2. That's going to be brought to you also. Obviously, the biggest thing, we got Paulie hype going all over the place, yelling from the rooftops about it. CECC May Madness is headed to Texas. The CECC finals will be happening in Esports Stadium in Arlington on May 6th and 7th. And if you can't be there in person, you can always catch it live on Esports U. For more information, go ahead and head to collegiatesmg.com. That is collegiatesmg.com. Thank you so much for joining us. We hope you have a wonderful night.
Of athletics, and I'm kind of indifferent in terms of whether it should, because I don't want esports to go down the road that some conventional sports have gone down with the NCAA. So we have a unique opportunity to kind of craft esports in a way that fits what esports is, as opposed to trying to fit it into a conventional athletics box, so to speak.
Right. I think the success of our program and getting participation is exactly that. The fact that we're not tying it in necessarily to athletics and NCAA eligibility. Like Carolyn, we probably have 3 or 4 schools that are under athletics. And I know it puts them in a difficult position sometimes trying to make some decisions. I got a request recently to consider allowing part-time students to participate during this year, because some schools struggle sometimes to fill out all the games that they want to play with us, and we held off on that for now. We defer to the institution and say What's your policy for those that are under student development or activities? What's your policy for allowing students to participate? And if you certify that they're eligible under your current policies, then that's good for us. I also think, and I was part of some of the conversations early on with the NCAA years ago about the NCAA getting involved as a Division II representative, and I was crossing my fingers that wouldn't happen. Just because I think this needs time to grow, and expand.
Can I ask Bob a question? Because you mentioned part-time enrollment, and one of the things that we've done here is that as a conference, we've just set eligibility standards, full-time enrollment, making progress towards your degree as the institution defines it. Are you guys doing something like that as well? Because we've gotten that part-time enrollment question and we've said no.
Yeah, no, I don't think we've gotten that far down the line, Carolyn, to ask for that. I think we kind of put it on the institution, but we do say that the student has to be a full-time. Now, they could be a full-time grad student, but they have to be full-time as from what the institution decides.
Yeah, our eligibility requirements are just as simple as can be. You have to be a full-time student in good standing.
Yes.
And after that, and that's about it. Now I think we wanted as few impediments to getting this thing rolling as possible in the outset. I do think as schools get more competitive, they will start to distrust one another. And that's why we have this 500-page NCAA manual, because schools distrust one another. But we're not there yet. Right now there's still a collective, let's move this forward. And the fact that the NCAA is not administering it, I think, is really helpful to the growth of it all. And yes, we allow grad students. We don't even have a 4 or 5 year clock. If you are full-time enrolled for 10 years in good standing, you can do. And why not? Why would we not say that that's okay? Now, eventually, like I said, we may change our minds if the schools require it. They say, no, this is crazy. Look what they're doing over there. We don't like, but I think we're still a long way from that. Alex, do you have anything?
Yeah, I mean, I echo everything that really Carolyn has said. You're gonna have to forgive me. What was the original question? It's been a minute. I know. I'm sorry.
Well, just kind of what you set out to do, and then what maybe the realities of it all.
https://twitter.com/septilence. Don't put that in. I'll get in trouble. So that's worth it. Did I get too close to the camera on that one? A little bit too close? Should I back up a little bit? Okay, sorry about that. My bad. I've been awake for probably close to 32 hours. I have to hold my keyboard the normal way, because if I do it, I feel like I have arthritis if I hold my keyboard like that. It blows my mind. I can never do that. This guy right here, he's got his keyboard off at an angle. His isn't that extreme. There's a kid all the way down on the far end who has his keyboard all the way at a horizontal. That's really cool. They're going to be at that table right over there. Public information? Oh, I don't know.